Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/figureoutyourlife. With over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, and Kindle. Now let's get to the show. Welcome back, everyone, to Figure Out Your Life podcast, the podcast where we find the answers to life's everyday problems. I'm your host, Toya T, aka Toya T with the PhD, aka yo bestie from another testy, aka yo sister from another mister, aka your friend that will always be there for you. And we'll find out the information so you don't have to. Stop. Welcome back, everybody. If you noticed, we took a brief hiatus. I know I should have said something, but I'm not even quite sure where to make those announcements. I don't know if I should do it on the Facebook group or on the Instagram page. But if you're not on either of those, you wouldn't have gotten that information. So first things first. Please go ahead and join our Facebook group, which is Figure Out Your Life on Facebook. You can find the information in the show notes, and also go ahead and follow us at Figure Out Your Life Pod, P-O-D, on Instagram, so you can always stay up to date on what is going on with the show and with me. And before I even get into anything, most important why you should join these things is because I'm having a giveaway. I'm having a giveaway in the spirit of the holidays, in the spirit of the fact that I hit 3,000 followers on my personal Instagram page and over 1,000 on the Figure Out Your Life pod page. And the fact that we are over 1,000 downloads and we are growing as a community and I am getting closer to my 50 reviews. There was just so many great things happening that I felt like, why not go ahead and give a gift to one of my listeners. So there is a giveaway. For the details, you can definitely find out in the show notes. I'll put the information there, but just briefly how it works out. You have to do 3 things to be able to be entered into the giveaway. And I should probably tell you what I'm giving away first. So I'm giving away a gift card for 1 free month of Rent the Runway Unlimited. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I absolutely love Rent the Runway, and I've been using Unlimited since July, I think. And it gives you the opportunity to rent stuff from Rent the Runway and, always keep up to date with the latest fashions and spend less money on clothes. Like, I literally don't shop anymore. The only thing that I'm shopping for right now is sweatpants, because it's cold and I like to be comfy, and I don't want to get that from Rent the Runway. I want something that I'm going to keep forever, that is going to be cool. But everything else that I need to do, if I need to go to a holiday party, a birthday party, baby shower, anything, wedding, all those things, if you follow me, all those pictures where I'm wearing something absolutely cute and fabulous, all came from Rent the Runway's Unlimited membership, including my coats. So I've been getting coats from them. And this week I'm actually going to get a purse, my first purse from Rent the Runway. I'm very excited about getting this cute red purse. I will definitely post it on my Instagram at LatoyaT. So again, that's what I'm giving away. 1 free month. The value is $159. Okay, $159. The way that you enter this giveaway is that you have to follow both Figure Out Your Life Pod and LatoyaT on Instagram. You also need to sign up for my newsletter. So I have a newsletter that will be coming out every Friday called Figure It Out Friday newsletter. You have to go and sign up for the newsletter on my website. So you'd have to go to figureoutyyourlifeblog.com / newsletter. Again, all those details will be in the show notes, and sign up for the newsletter. And you have to like the post of the giveaway. So you got to do 3 things, and I will randomly pick a winner, and I will announce it on Friday, December 13th. Friday the 13th. Isn't that great? I love Friday the 13th. I always have a lucky day on Friday the 13th. And then something like really creepy bad happens, but usually it's like a really lucky day. And then something like, that's kind of fucked up happens. But, that is what you have to do to enter into the giveaway. I'm really excited about doing this. I'm trying to just continue to build our little tribe here. I want you guys to join our Figure Out Your Life tribe, and that's the way to do so and get something nice. It's a great present if you want to give it to somebody else, if you are a man, because they don't have men's clothes on there, but they do have children's clothes. So if you're someone who has a kid or you just want to look cute, you can sign up for this. I highly suggest that you enter to win to get this. And if you don't win, I do have a code that I will put out after for you to get $100 off your first 2 months of Rent the Runway Unlimited. But let's get through the giveaway first. So that's that. So please look for the information in the show notes and continue just to support the podcast, even though we took a short week of a hiatus. And the reason why I did that is because I really thought the last episode that I put up was like super amazing, and I put all this money into doing ads for it, and it's still lower than every single other podcast episode that I've put out so far. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why do people not want to learn about saying no for the holidays? I guess that's how it goes. Like, you think that something is like exactly what your listeners want, and it's not. And so I'm learning that as I go. Go ahead and check it out if you want or not. Trust me, there's some really helpful tips that even I had to, like I said, like a lot of the stuff that I'm looking up is not only just for you, but it's also for me. Like I'm not only giving out the advice, I'm taking the advice. And so I recently, this past week, had to learn how to say no to something that was not serving me anymore. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but pretty much I had to say no to trying to reconcile with a friend who's no longer a friend. Like, like had a complete blow up with a high school friend. And apparently this person has had beef with me for the last 4 years. And I did not know. I had no idea that it was that serious. So serious that you remember that Christmas party that I was talking about in the last episode, if you ever listened to it, where my friends have like the Yankee swap. Well, I'm not invited to that party. I was invited and then uninvited. And so, of course, because I've gone through therapy and I'm trying to be a better person and I'm trying to be an adult about things and address things directly instead of just like assuming behind the scenes and then getting mad when I see people and not saying anything and then having it all, blow up sometime later. And so I decided to address it with the 3 hosts, and I sent an email just asking like what happened there. I just wanted clarification. And I got back to clear explanations for why I was uninvited, which I appreciated. And I got one from the person that stay mad at me, apparently, where the party's being hosted. So it's being hosted at this person's house, and they completely just disrespected the hell out of me. Like completely, like it just uncalled for, called me an aggrieved victim. Or said I was acting like an aggrieved victim and using name calling. I was like, I didn't do any of that. And pretty much made it clear to that person and the other 2 hosts that like, I'm not interested in being friends with this person because this is the second incident we've had where this person has, during a disagreement has said some things that has shown that they do not respect me as a person and has used language to really attack my character. Instead of attacking my actions, is attacking my character, like calling me like acting like an aggrieved victim. And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I'm not a victim. I asked a question. I was invited to a party that I have been invited to since college. So let's say that's been a good 10 years. Yes, over 10 years, like a good 15 years that this party has been going on because it's around the same time as one of our mutual friends' birthdays. And so we all, since everyone's around and it's right before Christmas, we tend to have like a celebration that turned into a Christmas party. And this is the first year that I have been invited and then uninvited because of where it's hosted. And I just wanted clarification. And the fact that we've been friends for over 18 years, I felt like if you're going to invite me and uninvite me, like literally I got an evite, like the text like saying, oh, you got an evite to this party. And when I clicked on it, it said like, you're not on this guest list. Maybe you should start your own party. And I was like, damn. And I just wanted clarification. Like, no one, I waited a whole week. I was like kind of offended by it. And not necessarily for the fact that, I never even saw the invitation. So I found out it was at the other person's house. I assumed that they removed me from the list because they didn't want me in their house. But I was waiting for at least one of the hosts to tell me, like, hey, that's what happened. Because we've been friends over 18 years, and you think that they would at least give me a heads up. And so that's what I was upset about. I wasn't upset about not being invited to the party or not being able to come to the party, because like, I'm not coming to places where I'm not invited. I literally was like sitting around thinking like, am I Amanda Seales in this? Like, I know we're both cancers, but damn, I was just talking about how she showed up to that party that she wasn't invited to. And then she went off on her podcast for 2 whole episodes. And went off on her live talking about like, professionalism and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be Amanda Seales. But Amanda Seales also doesn't like, directly address these things. She went on her thing and wasn't talking to the exact person. I went straight to the people and was like, what's good? Let me know what's happening so that so everything can be clear, because I found that really, like disrespectful and rude and seemed kind of petty, like that I would be invited and then uninvited. And I only found out that I was uninvited when one of the mutual friends was like, oh, are you going to the party? And I was like, well, I was uninvited. And they thought I was kidding until I showed them like, the evite that said, you're not on the guest list. And I was like, see, I told you. So it all culminated in a couple of email exchanges with this person. And I made it pretty clear. I made sure that everyone was on it. So there was no he say, she said. There was no lack of clarity of what was going on here. I made sure that I used very clear language. I made sure to take my feelings out of it. I made sure, because like there was stuff on there where I was being hella disrespectful, and I was like, you know what, this is not going to serve this purpose. What I'm going to say is that I'm no longer interested in being friends with this person. I'm not interested in sitting down with them, because they said like, oh, we can sit down and talk about this. I'm like, you just disrespected me, and you think that I want to come and sit down with you? I'm saying no. And mention like, oh, just it's really unfortunate because it's a holiday season. Yeah, because it's a holiday season, I'm saying no. I'm saying no. I made it quite clear, and also said like, please exclude me from all group activities if this is going to be a problem for this person. Like, I don't want to be the issue, the drama, because after this email, next time I see these folks, it's on site. I'm not saying I'm throwing hands. I'm saying I'm throwing words. Okay. I'm saying my tongue will be unleashed. I'm saying the face and the stares and the side eye will be unleashed, and there'll be some full on me mugging. And so to avoid that kind of tense, uncomfortable, unnecessary drama, I just say, just don't invite me, and I will not be offended. I'll understand, because I've told you not to invite me, made my intentions quite clear. And then this person came back, I guess someone talked to them and was like, well, I really would like to sit down. And I'm saying to you again, I'm saying to you all, I'm not interested. And it's so funny because I know I'm rambling, but this is all connected to this episode and last week's episode. So I thought it was so funny because I use this thing called the Pattern app. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it. I'll put the information in the show notes. But there's this app where you can pretty much put in your birth date and the time that you were born, and you can get like the creepiest kind of like insights on yourself. Like, they'll send you messages. And today, what do I get? Right? I get a message from the Pattern app that says, right now, don't be afraid to let go of any person, career, behavior, or environment that isn't serving you. The barriers you feel are intended to teach you. The danger during this time is to dismiss what you feel and to ignore your limitations, or not see that you're not see that there are an opportunity to redirect and start anew. I think they were trying to say there's an opportunity, not see that there's an opportunity to redirect and start anew. Creepy, right? Creepy. Maybe it just confirmed to me. Like, my friends are like, oh, you should talk. No, I'm not interested. I'm going with my gut feeling. This relationship, this friendship does not serve me. It no longer serves me. I haven't talked to this person or haven't had any interactions with the person this entire year. I haven't seen this person the entire year, and I haven't spoken to this person directly, like full-on conversation, since 2015. So I think I'm good. I think I'm gonna go with that, and I think I'm gonna stick with just exclude me from the group invitations, like weddings, birthdays, baby showers, like all these things. If that person's gonna be there and you want me to be there too, you might as well just invite that person and leave me out of it, because I'm not interested. And with that, let's go into some other stuff that's been happening. So, a couple other updates for you guys. Since we are besties and we didn't have a conversation last week, I just want to let you guys know that we did go to a restaurant for Thanksgiving and it was amazing. We went to Illegal Seafoods and it was so cool. It was so many people at the restaurant. I felt like I was like, like missing out on a secret that people had been going to restaurants for Thanksgiving and skipping the whole cooking thing for a while. Like it turned out to be me, my mom, my brother, and my cousin and her husband. Apparently my dad was mad at me because I didn't extend an invitation, even though I already knew that he had plans. And so now I know to just invite him, even though he has plans, so that I don't get my daddy mad at me. And I was like, dude, you had plans before I even had plans. But okay, I get it. I shouldn't have invited you. You have 2 stomachs, apparently. You can eat with us and then eat with your friends after for Thanksgiving. But it was great. Highly, highly recommend that if you have a small group of people, or even if you have a big group, because we sat across from what seemed like a big family. They were celebrating, like, I think 2 of the people in there were getting engaged. So it was like a couple, like an older couple, and you could see like the man had children from a previous relationship and the woman had children from a previous relationship. And they all came together and they were celebrating this engagement of the couple. But there was at least, like, they had a long table. So like you can do big groups at restaurants too. It's definitely way cheaper than having to buy all this food and cook it and wait for it. And then you have to like do leftovers and stuff. Like, restaurants are a good look. Also, what happened during this time that we've been away from each other, I bought a ticket to Thailand during Black Friday. I used the Black Friday sale. That's the only thing I bought on Black Friday, was a plane ticket to Thailand. Now, I got this through Cathay Pacific. They were having a Black Friday sale that started on Black Friday and ended on December 3rd. And they were having sales to Asia, starting at, I think, $591. And I paid, I think, $654 for a round trip ticket from Boston to Bangkok, Thailand. I'm not going at the end of this. I'm not going for New Year's like I was expecting, because it's way more expensive. The deal was for like February, and I was like, shit, I'm not working right now. And when I get a job, if I have a job in February, I would just negotiate, because anything that I'm getting right now, if I'm doing the interview process, ideally I don't see myself starting to work until like February. So I would just negotiate a starting date that was after my trip, because I'm going to fucking Thailand. But even not, I got trip insurance. So, if I can't go, I might end up being sick. Which is not hard, because, winter time around here, you can pretty much pick up a flu real quick. So I got the trip to Thailand, and my friend Tania is going with me. Hey girl. So I'm really excited. She's going to be there a little shorter than me because she has a job. And, she has a new job, so she doesn't have that much, vacation time. And so I'm going for 2 weeks. I intend to go to, do a couple days in Bangkok, a couple days in Phuket, including Koh Phi Phi Islands. I think I want to see if I can go to Krabi, and I also think I want to go to Chiang Mai. I think I'm saying that right, Chiang Mai, where the temples, like a lot of the temples are. And so I'm trying to do the whole Thailand experience. I'm really excited. But just found out, like, yeah, definitely best time to buy tickets for 2020 or just in general is on these Black Friday sales. $654, that is like $400 less than what I was seeing, for trips leaving from, December to January. Also, I'm just keeping you guys all the way kept up with me. Like, I know this is a long ass thing so far. Also, I paid for a resume writing service over the Black Friday weekend, because that's what's been like, you guys all know that I'm unemployed, or I've separated from my former employer, and I am trying to get a job no matter what my mama think. I ain't trying to be unemployed my whole life. I be sitting around like, damn, this is just like really sad. Like, my mom's going off to work, and I'm just sitting here, like, not sitting here like a bum, but like I'm in the house, working on different things, keeping myself busy. But like, I do miss working. I do miss getting a steady, like, serious check. And somebody asked me if I was interested in buying a house, and I said, "Fool, yes, I'm interested in buying a house, but not right now." He was like really trying to sell me. I was like, bruh, I'm unemployed. So the first thing that I'm working on is getting a new job before I'm thinking about getting no kind of house. So thanks for the offer, but take your real estate, looking for sale behind somewhere else. So I paid for a resume writing service. Pretty much I got it through Higher Ed Jobs. So like, it's within my field. So they understand like what kind of work needs to be highlighted on a resume. I paid for the resume and the cover letter service. It was $199, so $200 for the service. How it works is that I send them like a bunch of copies of my resume. I filled out a whole survey about like my work history and like my different skills, what I'm looking for, why I need a resume writing service, and like, copies of old cover letters, like 3 examples of jobs that I'm looking at that I'm trying to apply to. And, they sign me a writer. The writer, ask any questions they had to. So my writer did ask me some questions because I put more than one resume. I was like, dude, I want you to use this template, but use stuff off of this one and put it on here. Like, I want you to have the most information to make me look just absolutely amazing like I am. But that I can't seem to communicate through writing. Like, I'm just not me. And the written word, that's not the best way for me to communicate things. It is the oral word. I'm a oral storyteller. So I can communicate it to you verbally, but written, sometimes it does not commute as well. It doesn't come across the way it should. So I pay for the resume service. I actually got my drafts back last night, so I'm going to look at it today. I have until the 14th to get it back to him, and then he will make any changes, and then I get a final draft of both my cover letter and my resume writer. One thing I thought was funny is that they try to sell me on other services. Like, hey, do you want us to revamp your LinkedIn for us? You can pay $75 for this. I'm like, no, I already paid you $200. I do not need you to do something else. Do you want me to post all your new resume on all these job sites for $40? No, I am not that lazy. I am unemployed. Okay. I have the time to put my resume in all these places by myself, and I pay you $40 to do so. Okay, I need you to craft me something that will make it through the algorithms on these job applications, so your girl Toya T in 2020 can get a job, so she can get some money, so she can move out of her mama house. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So I did that, and so I think we're all caught up. Now let's get into today's topic. As you can see from, I know 21 minutes and we finally get into the topic. So this is kind of related to the last topic about saying no, but really not. And it's also related to the story I told you about the friend that I've decided I no longer need to be friends with. Like, I'm okay of not being friends with people anymore. Like, as we grow, we outgrow people. And so I kind of knew that I wanted to talk about, you already know, you can read the title of this podcast, of this week's, the episode's topic is figuring out FOMO, or how to deal with FOMO, how to deal with the fear of missing out if you don't know what FOMO is. So here it is. So if you don't know what FOMO is, it is a new mental health syndrome, right? That is, I think it's come since we've hit into the social media age, since we've hit into the age where we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and the other things that I don't know, because like I've limited myself to just Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And LinkedIn now, because a girlfriend's trying to get a job. But because we have all this, instant connection to people, where people can kind of see, people can post what they're doing with their lives. And people can see, oh, I'm on vacation. Oh, I just got engaged. Oh, I just, met 2 Chainz or whatever. Because of this, we have started to develop this new syndrome. And I think it's very much connected to Instagram's decision to try out taking away the likes, because they realize that it's having a negative impact on people's mental health, especially young people who are using likes as a validation of their achievements or of themselves. And so FOMO is very much attached to it. And so FOMO in itself, the fear of missing out. And if you've ever seen that, there is actually a commercial from, I think, hotels.com with Captain Obvious. I could be wrong. I don't know which one it is. But if you've seen the commercial with Captain Obvious, and there's one where it's Captain Obvious and he's sitting next to some guy, and the guy's looking on his phone, and he's like, oh my gosh, my friend is hanging out with Lil Jon. And he's like, oh, you don't have to miss fear of missing out. You don't have to, you can also, be at this fabulous place where your friend is, by using our service to get a cheap flight or a cheap hotel or whatever. But this is something that is becoming talked about quite often now. And so I'm trying to think, you're talking about the fear of missing out, but missing out on what? What are you missing out? I found this, I think, from Psychology Today, where they were coming at it as in like people are afraid of missing out so much that they're actually saying yes to everything because they are afraid of missing out on something. And because they say yes to everything, they overextend themselves, they overcommit themselves, and they cannot actually do anything, or they completely say no to everything as much as possible because they don't want to experience FOMO. Like they don't want to say like, well, I said yes to it, so this way I'm not going to miss out. But it's like, no, I said no, so like I don't have to feel bad about missing out on this. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I still think it's very much tied to like the social media age of like, you see people, they are posing in front of the Eiffel Tower. They're, hanging out with 2 Chainz. I don't know why I keep saying 2 Chainz. Like, I'm a big 2 Chainz fan. Like, let's say they're hanging out with Rihanna. Okay, that's something that I'll be jealous of. Like, you hanging out with Rihanna? Shit, I wish I was there. Why am I not there? But it definitely is like, I can definitely see it also pushing people to overcommit themselves. But let's just continue with what Psychology Today is saying. So they're seeing it as something where people are overcommitting because they don't want to miss out, or they're avoiding things because they don't want to have to experience the fear of missing out. Or in the case, what I'm saying is that they're also just seeing what other people are doing and then kind of becoming envious or jealous of what other people are experiencing instead of focusing on what's happening in their life and what they're currently experiencing. And so FOMO is a fear that in making an agreement that they are losing the chance to engage in other experiences that could result in greater personal gratification or satisfaction. And so again, they're putting it in a way that you fear that in making the agreement to say, yes, I am gonna go and do this, that they're losing the chance to engage in other experiences. And so they avoid saying yes to things. So they say no, because if I say yes to going to this holiday party, then I won't be able to go to this concert. And I'm going to miss out on the chance to go to this concert and then meet the man of my dreams, or the woman of my dreams, or end up, running into Brianna on the street and being able to take a picture with her. And then she invites me to hang out with her at the hotel. And then we, end up in, I don't know, in Barbados, hanging on the beach together. It's crazy, but like it's your mind kind of like creating these what if scenarios that starts turning into a fear of like, what if I don't get a chance to do this? So continuing, they point out that FOMO is deeply rooted in loss aversion. All right, so what is loss aversion? It is people are motivated by their fear of losing something, so they'll do what they can to avoid it. In some ways, this can be practical. It's why many people willingly choose to purchase different types of insurance to protect themselves, their finances, and their assets, since losses are at least perceived to be twice as impactful as gains in someone's life. This can be a powerful motivating factor, which makes sense. Like I told you, I bought this. I bought this amazingly affordable ticket to Thailand. But because I don't know if I will be working by then, but since it's not happening until February, early February at that, but because I don't know, I usually don't buy travel insurance, but I bought the travel insurance because I wanted to make sure that if anything happened that I could not go, that I would be able to get my money back. Because losing out on that money is like much more impactful than I think than actually the gains of, being able to go. I got the insurance, and it's the same reason why people have insurance in general, because of the fact that we would feel much worse about losing something than actually gaining something. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lost this much money, or I wasn't able to get this back, as opposed to like, what do you have? Like, what have you gained from something? So I think that's really interesting. They also said FOMO also has a lot to do with the need to fit in. So here we go about like the social aspect of it, the idea that we as human beings are social creatures. We thrive off of social interaction. That's why we live in groups. That's why we ended up living in, like our family groups, and then our family groups turned into, little tribes, and our tribes turned into villages, and our villages turned into towns, and our towns turned into cities, because we have, as human beings, thrive off of being around other human beings. Like, we actually gain something from it, either protection, either the joy of being around other people, the relationships, financial gains, like all kinds of things that we gain from being around each other. And so FOMO is very much linked into this idea of wanting to fit in, and, us being social creatures and social beings. And that previously, when we lived in small communities, is where it's coming from, like coming from the genetics of it. Like, when we lived in small communities, we relied on for our protection, and it was crucial that we fit into the group, and didn't risk being kicked out of the group, and that it's very much our survival literally depended on it. And everyone had to pretty much follow the same rules. Like, they don't go out at night, they hunt a certain way, they don't try to they don't try to do things that are unfamiliar to them, because for them that equaled death. And anyone who went outside of that had to be corrected or pushed out of the group, because they could harm the rest of the group and harm their survival. And so we have this kind of need to fit in, because it's very much from it is a part of human evolution, and that we have gone from this idea that we definitely need to be around other people, and we need to do certain things to be able to make sure that we don't get kicked out of the group. Because if you get kicked out of the group, you're dying. Like, you're most likely going to die. You're not going to survive. And so it's a survival instinct to want to fit in. And FOMO is very much attached to this, because it's the idea that we have to be able to fit in and try to limit actions and behaviors and thoughts that would have us kicked out of the group. So because the need is built into our genetics, like I was saying, like, it's very much just a part of human evolution. Even today, feeling left out of a group can cause feelings of restlessness and anxiety, because the amygdala, found in the brain and capable of detecting threats, registers this potential social isolation as a threat to our well-being. This actually causes psychological stress, and thus you've got the fear of missing out. And so this is why, I think it's very much tied to the social media thing, because we are now seeing more and more what other people are doing, and assuming that everyone is doing something and we're not, and that we're missing out on something. Like I said, when we went to Legal Seafoods for Thanksgiving, and I walked in and I thought it would be like a small group of people, and there was a bunch of people in that restaurant. I was like, yo, were we missing out on something? Like, did we not know that this was what people were doing? Like, there were like couples, older, younger couples, people with kids. Like I told you, that whole group of that whole family with the engagement and stuff. And it's like, I felt like we were missing out on something. Like, yo, when did people start doing this? And how come no one told me that this was the move? Like, it didn't make any sense. But that is like, again, as they're saying, that is something that comes out of this, really natural feeling of not wanting to be left out of something. And, I was experiencing FOMO right there, even though I was engaging in the activity that I was experiencing FOMO about. Like, damn, I was missing out on this, and now I experienced it, and now I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like now I'm part of the group. But again, that is a natural feeling. It's just that we have to be very careful about how we react to these things, and that's what I'm trying to help with this episode. So what can we do about it? So here's where I give you some tips on how to deal with FOMO. What is FOMO? And now we're talking about what can we do about FOMO. So one, here are some tips. Okay, so I have 6 tips. It's 6 tips. So here we go. 1, learn to distinguish what is truly important and necessary from what is merely desirable. So distinguish from what you need from what you want, because those are 2 different things. What you need is food. What you need is money to pay rent or to be able to have a unique. What you need is food, lodging, and clothing. What you want is, a fabulous, amazing, gorgeous, romantic partner, and, trips to Dubai, flying first class on Emirates. Like those are things that you want, but you don't need them. Like you can live without them. And we need to focus on the kinds of things that enhance the quality, not the quantity of our experiences. So we should be thinking about the quality of our experiences and not the quantity, not the fact that we have all these experiences. Like, oh my gosh, this person is flying out every single month. Okay, that person's flying out every single month, but what are you doing? And so for me, for example, I follow a couple of people who are like travel influencers. So one in particular is Simply Sin. I have her on like notification. And even when I just took her off notifications on Instagram, but even because I followed her so much and I like all her pictures, she pops up as soon as I open up my Instagram when she posts something. And so she's currently in St. Lucia. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And she was in the Maldives earlier. And she was in all these different places that I would love to be in. But then I think about like, one, I love traveling, but I do not like the act of traveling. Like having to be on the plane, like the whole like packing and going through the airports and going through TSA. Like if I had to do that every single month or more than once a month, I don't know if I would still enjoy traveling as much as I do. But what I can focus on is the fact that, okay, so 2019, I have traveled. I have had travel experiences that is not the same as Simply Sin, but they're just as valuable to me because they're things that I experienced. And so I might not have gone all these different places that she did, but in this year alone, let's see. So where did I go this year? This year I went to Cartagena, Colombia. That was my first time going to Colombia and to South America. So I got to experience that. And that was an amazing experience that I definitely want to do again and have shared with other people because I went by myself. I also went on my annual family cruise and we went to places that I can't remember right now. We went to Grand Cayman, which is beautiful and has like one of the most beautiful beaches, you know, that in the world. Like just for me, that experience, I love their beaches. We also went to Tulum. So I always wanted to go to Tulum for a long time. And that was the first time we went to Tulum. I went to the ruins. And then we also went to, oh my gosh, I'm like really bad at remembering the places that we went to this year. We went someplace else. Yeah, we did. Oh, how am I forgetting all these experiences? So this is a cruise we went on before and got to do different things. So we also went to Honduras. We went to Roatan Island. In Honduras and got to experience the Black Carib, oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting what they're actually really called. The Black Caribs, aka the Garifuna culture, and really got to engage in that. That was amazing. Like one of my favorite trips that I've taken. I definitely want to go back and spend more time in Roatan Island. They have some beautiful, like just culture and people and like spaces there. So we went there. We also went to Belize and we went cave tubing. Like that was a great family experience. Never went cave tubing before. Was very just different to be able to like go through a part of the Central American jungle, like, you know, in their rainforest and go cave tubing and learn about the different cave systems that they have there. And what else did we do? And then so after the cruise, I also, let's see, that was the summer. So I didn't go anywhere over the summer. Oh, and then in September, I went several places. I went to Memphis for the first time. Absolutely loved that experience. Then I went to Montreal for the first time. That was fun. Went to my first Pokemon Go event. Was very happy about that. Got some really cute like Pokemon that I couldn't get anywhere near me, but that's for the Pokemon nerds that follow me. I also went to, I went to Montreal. I was supposed to go to Miami, didn't go to Miami. So I went to Montreal, I went to Memphis, and I also in October went to Tulum for my best friend's cultural immersion trip to Tulum through heydrcourt.com and Viva la Lingua Travel. That was so amazing. Had a great time meeting these amazing women that all came together to go to Tulum under this program and learn about the culture in Tulum, about Mexican culture, to immerse in the food and the language and the people. And we stayed in a beautiful bomb ass house and just had a great time. Had a mezcal tasting. We went in the cenotes, like we swam in that. I was able to do some not scuba but snorkeling in there, and we had like just delicious food. Went to different restaurants. It was just great, like beach, everything. So I did all these things. These are all quality events that I cherish, and I am very happy that I was able to do. And it's different than what Simply Sin has done, where she travels all the time for work. And it's funny thing is that I learned when I went to Memphis, I went there for a travel conference, and I learned from one of the workshops about being a travel influencer. It's like when they do these things, it's very much work. Like it looks glamorous and stuff, but you're like expected, if these hotels or the tourism board is comping you to come to these places, like you're expected to work. You're expected to write up something, take pictures. Like it's really not work. And sometimes you can't bring like your significant other or friend with you. So you're alone in these like beautiful suites, these beautiful hotels, these beautiful places, but you're by yourself, or you're with like whoever your photographer is or whatever, and you're expected to put out a product. So it's like not a fun vacation. It can be fun, but it is very much work. And that's what I got from it. Like, like I can't be jealous of people who do this for work, because like I know that I do not enjoy the like travel part of experience of traveling. Like I do not like the process of the traveling. I like getting there. I like going to the beach. I like hanging out, but all that other stuff, it doesn't really appeal to me at this time. And so focus on what is quality experiences for me, which is just being able to be able to travel with my friends, with my family, or to be able to go new places. Like that's what we need to do, to learn to distinguish between what is important and necessary and what is desirable. Focus on the things that bring quality, enhance the quality of our life, but not the quantity of our experiences. So we don't have to do a whole bunch of other things that people are doing. We just have to make sure that the things that we do are like, they do add value to our lives. Number 2, remind yourself that nobody's life is perfect, even if it looks that way when you see all the great things they are doing. That is a good one. And that is very much connected to the social media age that we're in, that we get to see all these pictures. And I remember seeing something where people were saying like, no one ever posts the bad things. They don't post when they didn't get the job, when they didn't experience something good, when it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. They don't post the failures. They post the successes. They post like the good pictures. You don't see when like, you go somewhere and you had a crappy experience with the taxi driver. You're seeing like the pictures on the beach. Like you're seeing all the good moments, and you're not seeing the bad moments. You're seeing the cute babies, but you're not seeing when they poop all over the place and they're sick and they're screaming all night long and you're not getting any sleep. And so it's just, you need to remind yourself that nobody's life is perfect, even though when you see it on Instagram and everyone looks so happy and they're smiling and it's all these likes and stuff like that, that is not reality. Like social media and what you see, what people put out there is not reality. It's a piece of their reality, but it's not the full story. You don't see, like, even when they put the pictures out there, like think about professional pictures. When you put the professional pictures out there, we don't see the airbrushing. Like, when people do that, like, oh, this is what it looked like when they took the cover picture for the magazine, and this is what it looked like after they airbrushed it. And you're like, damn, they got rid of dark circles. They got rid of the acne scars. They got rid of that cellulite. They made their waists smaller. They made their skin clearer and smoother. They, did a whole bunch of stuff to create this perfect image that is not real. I mean, even when you look at these cookbooks and these menus, or these like food magazines, like there are people who actually are food designers. Like those pictures that you see on on websites for restaurants and stuff usually aren't the real food. Like they usually get someone to create the food to look desirable. Like you'll have someone, like it's not even the food, it's not even real food. It's like Play-Doh or whatever they can get to make it look like what will be desirable to people, that will pop best in the pictures. And so that is something that we definitely had to remind ourselves, that nobody's life is perfect. No one's. Not the Obamas, not the Knowles Carters, not Rihanna, not, Kelly that you're friends with, or Keisha that you happen to follow and she's always traveling. No one, not Toya's, not nobody's. Nobody's life is perfect. And so you can't envy things that you see, because you have to understand that that is what they're choosing to show you. They're choosing to show you the nice pictures. I know when I post pictures on my Instagram, I've taken like 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 pictures with my camera, and I'm only showing you the ones that I think look nice. And so that's what you have to think about. It's the same way that you have to remember that nobody's life is perfect. Number 3, practice mindfulness. Rather than chasing after what may be just an illusion of happiness, we can gently strive for the deep satisfaction that comes with the cultivation of mindfulness. This is the practice of being present in our lives and giving non-judgmental awareness to our moment-to-moment experience. So pretty much the idea that let's just stay in the moment. Instead of trying to think about what other people are doing, or trying to chase this illusion of perfectness and happiness. Like, no one is happy all the time, but you can be happy in a moment. You could be happy right now. You could be happy having dinner with your family, reading a book to your kids, finally being able to buy that, pay for that plane ticket to the place that has been on your travel list for the last 3 years. Be happy in that moment. Celebrate that moment. Stay in that moment. And that's a lot more healthy for you than thinking about, oh my gosh, I need to go and chase after this or that, and I need to be happy all the time, and this person's always happy. Because again, remember, no one's life is perfect. And that we should be thinking about the quality of our experiences, not the quantity, and that we should be able to not focus on what the next thing is, but focus on the current things that we are doing. What are we doing? How does that make us happy? For example, I can't be worrying about the fact that I didn't put out an episode last week and that might have affected my numbers. No, I'm thinking about right now. I'm recording right now. I'm putting out another piece of content that I hope will be helpful to other people. I can't be worried about, this didn't work out the way I planned and maybe this one won't work. No, I'm producing right now. I'm producing something. I'm very much in the zone. I'm very proud of myself. The fact that I had all this stuff written out from earlier. I just didn't record it until today. That's fine. I'm getting it done. And it's going to get done. It's going to get posted tomorrow. Because today's Sunday. And I'm recording, and I usually record on Monday mornings. And today I'm ahead of the schedule. So proud of myself. Be happy in this moment, our moment to moment. Because again, we all know that nothing is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Our next second is not promised. You can get hit by a car. You can have an aneurysm. You can drop dead. Anything can happen to you. Anything. And so we cannot be thinking about what tomorrow is going to bring, what the next second, what the next hour is going to bring. We have to be thinking about, how do we feel right now? And if you're not happy, and if we're sad or whatever, how can we move through that? How can we feel it, experience it, and move forward? Number 4, let go of comparisons that stir up anxiety for you. Instead, focus on what you want from your life. Like I was talking about the fact that I have 2 friends that are having babies. One's having a baby this month. We don't know when. She could be having that baby right now. Aubrey don't have that baby right now. And comparing my life, because a lot of it comes from just being a human being, and also you have outside factors that are telling you my mom does this to me a lot. And again, therapy. I went to therapy to deal with my fear of failure connected to my relationship with my mother, and the things I learned from my therapist are coming back now. That I cannot worry about who she's comparing me to. She's we had a big fight and I got really upset. Not a fight, but we had a discussion. She said some stuff and I was like, you know what? I don't appreciate, I understand what you're trying to say. You're worried. You're concerned about me and the fact that right now I'm 36. Not married. I'm not dating. I don't have kids. I don't have a job. I live at home with my mama. And to you, it seems like, what the hell is this child doing? Because you don't understand. But saying to me, look at what all your friends are doing does not help me in this situation, because comparisons are the death of dreams. I swear to God it is. She's been using that as a tactic to motivate me, and it has never worked. It has not worked. It has only created more anxiety and my fear of failure, which has created depression, anxiety issues that very much could be thwarted. Thwarted. What am I saying that? Oh my gosh, I cannot speak today. They could be avoided if I didn't constantly have this idea of comparison. Like, she's compared me to one of my cousins. And I'm like, okay, you compare me to her, but then, like, what was that supposed to do for me? Like, oh, I'm sure this person doesn't disrespect their mother. Well, you don't know that. They probably do. You don't know that. You're saying, oh, well, my friends have their stuff together. Not all of them do. And even if they are working and have a job, doesn't mean that they're happy. Just because they're married doesn't mean that they're happy. Just because they have kids and I don't, doesn't mean like there's something wrong with me and that they're doing so much better than me. And like, that's what we need to let go of. Let go of the comparisons. You can aspire to have something that you think that you also want that someone else has. So I do aspire to have a healthy, relationship with a man, like some of my friends do. Not all of them. Some of them, I know that shit is fucked up. I know other way to say it. Because I do have a couple of friends that are already divorced. Like, we're 36 and people are already divorced. I can, more than on two hands, I can count out to you of friends who got married and that are already divorced. And some of them have kids, which makes it even more complicated. And so, not jealous of that. But seeing things at work and saying like, you know what, I do aspire to eventually be in a healthy, not perfect relationship, but a healthy and loving relationship with another person, and to be able to raise children with them and be in a partnership with them. That I aspire to, but I do not want what they have. I don't want to be married to my friends' husbands. I do not. None of them. I don't want to be married to any of the celebrity people's husbands. As much as I think that Morris Chestnut is fine as hell, I do not want to be married to Morris Chestnut. I do not. I'm not. That's not my man. And I'm not built for it. And that's not the life that is meant for me. Like, they always, like that saying says, what's meant for you is meant for you. And you shouldn't be jealous of other people's stuff, because the stuff that is meant for you will happen when it's meant to happen. That is what I am very much in that mind space, that we cannot be stuck in comparisons. We need to focus on our own lives and what we want. You can aspire to certain things that you can aspire to certain milestones that people have reached, but you don't want their lives. Trust me, you don't want their lives. You don't want my life, and I don't want yours. I want my life. What is made for me, that is based off of my needs, my wants, my experiences. That is what we need to focus on. Number 5, you can't have it all. Let me repeat this. You cannot have it all. No matter what, they try to tell you, no matter what Good Housekeeping or Oprah magazine or whatever wants to tell you, you cannot have it all. It is not possible. Even Oprah doesn't have everything. Okay. Even Oprah does not have everything. Even Meghan Markle does not have, like, what is it? Is she Your Royal Highness? I think she is Your Royal Highness. Meghan Markle doesn't have it all. Everyone has something that they do not, that they want but cannot achieve. Oprah is a billionaire and has had struggles with her weight for the entire time that she has been in the limelight. She's been on Weight Watchers. She's been, what was she on, Jenny Craig too? Like, she was yo-yo dieting. She had books out. She was thin. She was big. That is something that obviously is important to her, but she has not achieved. She does not have Beyonce's body. Beyonce don't have Beyonce's body. So I'm saying, like, even Beyonce, up and down, that girl drank lemon water and maple syrup before she filmed for Dreamgirls, because she needed to be like waif thin. Like, that's what she wanted to be. And that girl was not eating. If you watched the Beyonce's Homecoming on Netflix, and the preparation that she did, that she just had them twins, and then she had to prepare for like 8 months for Coachella, and she had to lose her baby weight and learn the new choreography and put together this show. And that girl said that she was eating nothing, no sugar, no bread, no meat, nothing. And she said, I'm hungry. Even Beyonce doesn't have it all. Okay. Even Beyonce don't have it all. So you have to remember, You cannot have it all. You have to say no to some things in order to say a meaningful yes to others. And so you have to realize you cannot do everything. If it's important to you, then yes, you put that first. But if it's not like at the forefront of things, if it's not super needed, like you can say no. And that's the whole point of like the FOMO thing, like saying yes to everything so you don't miss out. No, you can say no. You don't have to be at everything. Just like I said with this party, this Christmas party, even though that we've been having these parties and I've been going to these parties since, let's say, that's a good way of thinking about it. Was it 18, 19, 20? I feel like we were still in college, but let's say we were out of college. Let's take it out of college, right? Let's say these things started happening in 2005 after we graduated from college. So that would still make it 14 years that I have been going to these things. Even last year when my family went away for Christmas. We went to Cancun. We spent Christmas in Cancun last year. Even then, I went to this party because it was right before we left. It was like a day or two before we left. Even though I've been going to all these parties, again, when this person confronted me about this whole like you're acting like a victim thing, I was not upset about not being invited to this party. I don't think I'm going to be missing anything. I'm not going to be missing anything being in a space where I'm not wanted. That's how I see it. Like, I'm not missing out on nothing. My life will continue to go. Life goes on. I might have some other plans because, again, I don't even know when this party is, but very likely I could have other plans. I could be in New York. I could be anywhere. And so you cannot really be focusing on being able to do everything and be everywhere and have it all. Yes, it would be nice to spend this time with my friends, but it's not like I cannot spend time with the people that will be at this party individually somewhere else. And that's the way to think about things. You can't have it all. You have to say no to things. You have to accept that you cannot be everywhere. You cannot do everything. And if you don't feel like doing something, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it just because you don't want to say no to someone and have them be mad at you or miss out on things. And because of last week's episode on learning how to say no, figuring out how to say no, I have been practicing this whole saying no without apology. And so people ask me to come places and hang out somewhere or go to something, and maybe it would be great for me to go. But if I don't feel like it, if I feel like I'd rather just stay home, I'd rather, not have to drive into the city or put on clothes right now and stress myself out and get stuck in traffic or whatever, just to go down there. I have learned to just say, I can't make it. I can't do it. Next time, let's try next time, let's try next week or something. And I have taken out the word sorry, because I usually do it with sorry, I can't make it. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. I should not apologize for things that I do not want to do. I don't have to apologize for saying no, for putting myself first and doing something that if I'm feeling I don't want to do it, not doing it. And so unless you are sorry should only be used for when you are apologizing for something that you actually feel sorry for, that you actually feel remorse for. And so again, even with that email that I had with that friend, I did not say sorry. I said sorry only where it made sense. I'm sorry if I used a word that very much sounds accusatory, because I admit that word is accusatory. And so I will apologize for saying that. But I'm not going to apologize for everything else I said. I'm not going to apologize for my feelings. I'm not going to apologize for feeling the way I do and expressing that. But I will take, ownership of maybe using some words that seem accusatory, and that's not my intent. But I'm not going to sit down with you and have this whole, I've been waiting for an apology for 4 years. Well, you're not going to get it. If you didn't get it 4 years ago when you wanted it, because of the way that you approached me, you're not going to get it now. And I'm not going to apologize or feel bad about it. And some of my friends telling me, oh, you should sit down and try to work this out. And right now I'm like, well, I'll think about it. And after the pattern app told me that I need to listen to what my gut is telling me no. And I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to say, I'm sorry, guys, I can't do it. No, it does not serve me, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not interested. I said it 3 times. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And I'm not interested. And that's fine. No sorries. No apologies. I'm not interested. Just saying. You just have to pay attention to that stuff. You can say no so you can say a meaningful yes to the things that you want to do that serve you, that make you happy, that, as Marie Kondo says, that sparks joy. Say yes to the things that spark joy to you, and no to the things that do not spark joy, that do not serve you, that do not make you happy, and is only going to cause you more stress and anxiety. Number 6. It's the last one on the list. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Instead of chasing fantasies we believe will fulfill us, we can cultivate gratitude. This practice allows us to be more deeply appreciate what we have rather than focusing on what we lack or desire. FOMO is a fear of not having something that is necessary for our well-being. Gratitude allows us to count the blessings in our life right now, in this moment where life is actually going on. And so you'll hear people, like, I hate when people say, like, oh, well, be thankful that you're alive, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's true, but what this is saying right here, and what I'm trying to say, is that in regards to FOMO, the fear of missing out, instead of focusing on what you do not have at the moment, what you are not experiencing, be thankful for the things that you have experienced. Just like I said about the whole travel thing, and like, the travel influencer Simply Sin, that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she's so fabulous. She's like traveling all this places. People are paying her to do this. I would love this. Oh my gosh. Focusing on, like I said, the fact that I have traveled this year, and those experiences that I have, I'm very grateful for, because I realize not everybody has the opportunity to be able to do what I have done. And it's the same thing. What she is doing is great. And I very much aspire to some of the things that she's done, but it doesn't discount the fact that I myself have had experiences that I'm very grateful for. Like, for example, usually when I feel a little down, I think about the things that I have that maybe some other people don't have, and not in a way to like boost myself up, but to just remain present and mindful of like the blessings that I have in my life. For example, like I said, I'm 36. My friends were all around the same age. Just like I said, some of my friends have already experienced, marriage and divorce. Some of them have experienced, having kids with someone and it not working out and being a single parent. Those are things that right now, even though it's like, oh, well, you never, like, I remember, like, this happened on Love and Hip Hop, where Lyrica, if you watch the show Love and Hip Hop in Hollywood, said to another female, well, at least I have a man, that at least I have a man to be able to cheat on me, and you don't. And it's like, how is that something to be grateful for? That is on its head. If I was that person, if I was Brittany B, that's what she was saying it to. She's like, at least I have a man to be able to be cheated on. And it's like, girl, that is not an accomplishment. What I would have said back is like, I am thankful. And that's what I usually say too. Like, even though I'm single, there's nobody cheating on me right now. And that is a great thing, because I've been there. It doesn't feel great. Even though I am not married, at least I haven't gone through the hard financial and emotional process of going through divorce. That is something that I am grateful for, because I've seen how hurtful and how draining it can be. Not to say that like I feel better than them, but I'm saying like I'm happy that is something. When I think about that, I'm grateful that I have not experienced that. When I think about when my parents annoyed the fuck out of me, like my dad's sitting there like, oh, you didn't invite me. And my mother's like, well, you see, you never asked any questions. And that's why you didn't even ask your father. You should have just invited him to the Thanksgiving. Okay. All right. You're right. I'll just say you're right. Because when I think about it and I want to just go off, I remind myself that I have friends at this moment, like within my circle, that do not have their mother or their father or both, that have lost them in the last few years or the last decade, and that I am very blessed and grateful to still have my parents in my life to annoy the fuck out of me. That I still have my mama and I still have my daddy, and they are still relatively healthy, and that is something I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that even though I'm unemployed, that despite being unemployed, I have a roof over my head. Like I said before, I have a roof over my head. I have food in my belly and I have money in the bank. Shorty, what you drink? Okay. Because there are people in the same circumstances, like a story I had read earlier this year about a Black woman with the same kind of credentials. She has a PhD. She went to graduate school and undergrad in New York. She was from a single parent household, all this stuff. She was an adjuncting and working as an adjunct. And that woman died alone in a hospital. And the only reason they were able to find someone is I think they call someone on her cell phone or something. And they just called the first person on her cell phone and was able to tell them like, hey, this person has died. That is something I'm grateful for, that I know that will not be my experience, because there are people in my life that are very much, as much as I hate that my mother wants to stalk me, like she wants to know where I am at all times. I'm grateful that if anything happened and I end up in a hospital somewhere, that she would see when she looked at my location and said, I haven't seen Latoya in 3 days, I haven't heard from her, that she'd be able to say, oh, her phone is at Boston Medical Center or whatever hospital, and maybe that's where I'm going to go find her. Then I know that people will be able to locate me. And so I'm grateful for that. And that's the things that we have to focus on, is like, what are you grateful for? Like, don't think about what you're missing. Be grateful for the things that you have. And if you're aspiring to something, focus on how you are working towards it. That, yes, I may not have done that today. I may end this year without a job, but I know that I have the education, the skills, and the experience, and now a resume written by a professional and a cover letter written by a professional that will get me a job in 2020. That is something that I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I'm missing out on being employed and being able to do all these things that people who are employed can do. I'm focusing on the fact that I have these things that I know will lead to what I want in the future. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be today, but it will happen. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I'm relatively healthy. I'm grateful that that I have a Rent the Runway unlimited membership, and then I'm able to afford it even though I'm unemployed, because I ain't got no babies to be able to have to put my money into, and I don't have to pay rent nowhere. As long as my mama don't kick me out. And if she kicked me out, I would just move to my daddy's house. And so that is how you deal with that. And with that, I'm done with this topic. I hope that you found this informative. Now let's move on to, let's figure this out. Last part, it's going to be really quick. Okay, let's figure this out. Let's see if you can figure this out for me. So I don't know if I told you guys that I started, I recently subscribed to a company called Freshly, which sends you like fresh, healthy food, although the sodium is really high in some of their meals, to your house. They send you like 7 meals to your house, like for $50 like a week, which is very helpful for me because it's helped me to not go to fast food when I don't want to cook. And you know, it gives me like different foods that I haven't tried, and they're like, I look forward to it, and it's like really good. But the whole thing about Freshly is that it's supposed to deliver your food to you every Friday, right? And so I have gotten at least, I think, 3 boxes so far. I would like to say 3 boxes. So this is my 4th box, and it didn't arrive on Friday. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? It says that it's supposed to arrive on Friday. It said it shipped on Thursday, and it didn't arrive on Friday. I was looking all day for my food, and I was like, okay, where's my food? Where's my food? Where's my food? Where's my food? Didn't come. So then Saturday comes around, and I'm like, okay, so where's my food? My food should be here, like, you know, delivered like early, right? Since it didn't deliver on the Friday like they usually do. And nothing. I get an email from them saying like, oh, we're so sorry. Like, you know, we had a delay, and we've talked to our carrier, and your stuff should be coming. And just to let you know, your food is still fresh, because the way that we package our food is that it's designed to stay fresh for 2 days in transit and 12 hours on your porch. So I was like, okay, cool. And then it said, you know, for your troubles, here's a $10 credit. I was like, cool. You know, I appreciate that, because I expected my food to come yesterday, which is Saturday. And I waited all day, was like stuck to the door, like looking outside, checking the app for, you know, delivery updates. And it said it was out for delivery at 6 a.m. from Franklin, Massachusetts. And I was like, okay, so I'm getting my food today. Waited all day, did not get my food. Like, I was expecting to eat it for lunch, and I was like, shit, I'm really fucking hungry. Where's my food? So I ended up going to Chick-fil-A, which, has its own problems. So I came home thinking that maybe I could have my freshly meal for dinner. And of course, it still didn't come. So I was like, okay. So I woke up this morning. I was like, okay, folks, I am done. You best be giving me back my money, because this is ridiculous. So I went on the app, and I was like, okay. My food did not arrive yesterday, and it was supposed to arrive on Friday. And I don't want it anymore. I want my money. I want a refund. And the little like automate, like they have little chat thingies, so the person's talking to me like, oh, I'm so sorry, like we're gonna look into it, and our stuff is good for 2 days, in transit. And I'm like, yo, today is day 3 in transit because it's supposed to come on Friday, and you sent me an email yesterday that said that it would arrive, that 2 days, that Saturday was the 2 days of transit. And so they were trying to tell me it was still good. And I was like, dude, it is, whoever this person is, because, it's just a chat. I'm like, it is day 3. I do not want to eat this food because you just said that it's good for 2 days in transit. And today is day 3 in transit, which means that by the time I get it, it is no longer fresh. Because the food is not frozen. It is like in these packages that you're supposed to put straight into the fridge. And again, like it is packaged in a way, like they have like the little ice thingies in there. And so I'm saying, like, it's day 3. It's probably going to be melted. And plus, I'm not eating this because I refuse to get food poisoning, because you want to send me some food that was supposed to arrive on Friday and then try to convince me that I can eat it on Sunday when it was shipped out on Thursday. And so, in all this, I'm like, yo, why are you trying to argue with me over the facts that you gave me? Like, you said it was 2 days. Like, I'm not stupid. You said it was 2 days in an email that you sent me on Saturday. It is Sunday. I want my food. My food's not here. So since my food's not here and it's not going to be fresh when it arrives, because I don't know when it's going to arrive, because you're telling me it can come anywhere between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m., I want my money back. And so I was trying to wonder, why are they trying to fight me on this? Why were they trying to fight me on this when it's pure logic, when I'm just using the words that they wrote to me in their own email? And so, long story short, they, all my little, because I was going to go full on fake lawyer on them. Full on fake lawyer. Long story short, I think this person realized where this was going and decided just to give me back my money. So I got a full refund coming to me. They already processed it. I was like, that's what I fucking thought. But try to explain to me, like, why is it that these companies, after they don't deliver on their own promises, try to act like they shouldn't give you back your money that you paid for a service that you did not receive? Help me understand this. And this is not bashing Freshly, because I intend to get my Freshly this week, okay? But I'm very happy that I got my $49.99 back, and they gave me another $10 credit to go towards my future orders. So I'm like, cool, that works for me. So does that mean I got $20 in credit or just $10 in credit? I was going to ask. I'm just going to wait to see what they charge me for this week. Definitely, I would suggest that you try them out if you're interested. I got a code. I'll put it in the show notes, because I'm trying to help you out and get $40 to try out their food, which is actually really good, except for the sodium count. Like, if you want lower sodium, maybe you might not want to. You might want to check out each meal before you take them, because they do give you all the information. But I just don't understand. Like, it's that season. It's that season where, like, that things get delivered to your house and can possibly get stolen by somebody. And so that's why I was on top of them, like, yo, did someone steal my food? Because that's really, like, why would you steal a box of food? Like, come on. So that was my figure this out. If you can let me know, if you can figure out why companies try to act like they don't have to give you back your money when you paid them for a service, you let me know. But always know that you can complain and definitely get yourself some money back on the shit that you're supposed to get, or a refund, like I did. Anyway, with that, I'm done. It's been longer than I expected. I didn't mean for this to be so long, maybe because I told you that whole story about what's going on in my life. Plus, we did not talk for a whole week, so I feel like I had to catch you up, because we're besties, we're besties from another testies, we're sisters from another mister, we're, I don't know how to be brother, but okay, whatever, you're my brother from another mother. I'm happy you guys came back. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, please, if you like the episode, if you like the podcast, please spread it around. Share with your friends, share with your enemies, share with your friends who are no longer your friends, share with the people that invite you and then uninvite you to things. And then also go and review the podcast. If you don't know how to, again, I'll put it in the show notes so you can know how to review the podcast. If you don't have Apple or you don't listen to this on Apple Podcasts, you can review me on any platform that you listen to. I got my Spotify podcasters update, and it was so cute because I really didn't have my Spotify numbers. It's not as large as my other numbers, but like it's just good to know people are also listening to me on Spotify. So please, and especially since Spotify now is sending out this information, please go ahead and review me. If you listen to me on Spotify, go ahead and do it over there. Everything helps. I'm extremely appreciative for everyone who is listening to me, and new listeners, old listeners, people who are sharing. So I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to enter to win in the giveaway so that you can get a really nice gift with a value of $159. That's how much I love you guys, that I would give you such a great gift. So please go into the show notes to figure out how to enter for the giveaway. I will be announcing the winners on Friday the 13th. And so, in the newsletter and on social media. And so with that, I hope you guys have an absolutely blessed morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're listening to this, wherever you are. I just want you guys to have a happy, healthy week. Okay, do only things that serve you. Do only things that spark joy. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.